it is time, excuse the pun, to build up this fantastic frame that's been glinting in the background at us for the last few videos, and also this other one over here as well. Now, today's video is going to be a bit of a build. So if you're going to buy one of these time bikes yourself, it's going to give you some hints and tips about what to expect and what you might need to consider. But also I want to do a ride review, but not from me, because this is clearly not the right size frame for me. This is going to be Vic's long-term ride. This is going to be her bike. We paid for this. This is not paid for by Time. We paid good money for Vic to have this bike, and it was a lot of money. So what we're going to do is to take all the components off her old bike, which you've seen on the channel before, and then hopefully we're going to have a sort of a conversation with Vic as she rides it to Paris, and then see what she thinks about it, because she is not sort of burdened by the language that our cyclists speak, you know, compliance and stiffness. As far as she knows, all of her components are exactly the same, and we're moving them from a bike or a frame that cost us about 300 quid at the time to a bike costing 10 times that amount. So I think this should be shaping up to be a fairly interesting review.
Are you ready? Oh my good lord. Ooh. Wow. Oh, look at that. Jeez Louise.
So pink.
So pink.
I quite like it.
I love it.
But then again, I am a pink enjoyer, so.
I don't know if that should maybe that should be black.
Yeah.
That was exposed carbon where it said Time.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But they do.
Good shout.
It has got white logos on the top.
White logos on the top in the exposed carbon, which is beautiful.
Imagine if that
Yeah, I reckon
Get a
the
load of
flag
that.
was
That's
exposed
lovely.
carbon.
But yeah, the logo in exposed carbon, that's a really good shout. It was this all the way, really. Even though the others are gorgeous, I've seen the red. But yeah, this was the one. That's going to be amazing.
A quick reminder of Vic's bike. This is the Tifosi SS26. It's an open mold frame, sort of similar to what you might find from a lot of sort of low-end carbon bikes. The fit's a little bit weird for her, but we knew that at the time, but we managed to get the contact points right by moving the saddle forward, a shorter stem. So this Time bike's going to be a big upgrade in terms of her centre of gravity and balance. But one of the characteristics this frame does have, which is pretty common amongst most open molds, it's incredibly stiff at the rear, so you definitely get good pedal input. You know, when you stamp on the pedals, it feels stiff, but it can be quite jarring to ride. All those vibrations definitely come through. The seat post offers no compliance whatsoever. And then in contrast, there's quite a lot of flex in the steering and the fork, which is, I think, where Vic's going to notice most of the difference. Now, you can kind of see as I lean on here, just where that flex comes from. That's coming from like down here. And with the steering input, you can see where this flex is. So if you've ever had a mountain bike with really flimsy, like 30mm stanchion forks, and you turn it onto rough ground, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Roadies don't tend to consider this flex that much, but it is important, and I think it is something that we'll definitely notice, because the forks on these Time bikes are properly rigid. I think the steering is going to be super accurate, but I'm not going to show this to Vic until she's had a chance to ride it. Okay, let's get this thing ripped apart. We'll come back to this in a second. This is actually going to be pretty boring. We'll come back. Right, so when you buy your new Time bike, it comes set up pretty much for a one-by setup with SRAM access, because the front mech's all covered up and the blanking port is on here, so if you're running electric gears. But everything you need is going to be in this bag. Some of you might actually get a nice presentation tin. We weren't lucky enough to have that. We just got a plastic bag. You get a piece of paper saying, get your owner's manual, scan the QR code. I scanned that. It just took me to a page full of out-of-date owner's manuals and nothing relevant to the ADH23 in there at all. So a bit weird. We get a front axle, we get a rear axle. That's all pretty standard stuff, and there's nothing particularly special to report on that. There's no like branding or sizes or anything like that. It's just two axles. You get a steerer tube compression. This is good quality. It's nice and long as well, which I like. we get, weirdly, a Di2 battery holder that will go inside the seat post. I say weirdly because nearly all seat posts now have got some sort of built-in Di2 battery compatibility that you clip in with a circlip. So these are a bit old-fashioned now, really. You get some carbon construction grease for that seat post. You get your front mech mount, which will show you when we build this bike. So quite handy. Then you get, weirdly, 3 centimeters worth of carbon head tube spaces. I say weirdly because how this is all set up, I don't think you'd actually use this. So this seems like a bit of a waste. And then we have a headset spacer just in case your top cap is touching the frame. You can just space that out. And then, weirdly, inside the frame here is actually a cable guide, but that cable guide is really not for mechanical at all. So inside the box you get the cable guide for mechanical, so you can run the outer cables here for front and rear derailleurs, but you don't get the little grommet for the back. What you do get is a little grommet like that for Di2. So if you're running a Di2 cable holding a battery here, junction box, Di2 cable comes out, that's in there. But then you have to ask if you want the mechanical cable guide. And when you do that, they send you another mechanical cable guide that goes in there. So I've got a collection now. And they also send you the little grommet that sits here for a cable guide. I'm going to show you how we're going to hack this, because this isn't a great setup for what we want to achieve. But there we go. That's what you get. Let's whiz this around and show you the headset, because this is probably something a bit more unusual. At the moment, we've got the Superbox stem fitted from Deda, because this is the stem that we're going to use. And this is the stem that I think most of you are probably going to use. So it would be quite nice if that relationship with Deda at the time have with their headset extended into supplying one of these. So at the point of checkout, you just sort of selected the stem that was going to work for you. So in the box, when you buy your bike, you're going to get the bottom headset bearing down here, the top one, and this spacer. So when the fork is in, you have a top cap like this. And this top cap is going to fit. And so the cables are going to run through here. So if you now put spacers on, you're going to have this big gaping hole at the front of your bike, which is definitely not cool. So as it comes out of the box, I doubt very few of you are going to actually run it in that configuration. Deda do make like a cover so that you can kind of integrate it a bit better, but out of the box, all you've got is like basically a big hole for water there, which is definitely not cool. So rather than that complete mess, we've decided to take advantage of the fact that it comes with a DCR headset. What I mean by that is that Deda have a system called DCR, which loads and loads of these stems and covers are all compatible. And if you go to the Deda website, you will see lists and lists and lists of little top covers like this that are compatible with all types of bikes and all types of stems. Now, we have gone for what they call the Superbox stem. Now, this is actually quite similar to the Time design that we've talked about, and it's got this little plastic cover down here with 2 little locating pins so that our cables can locate nice and neatly under here and be kept out of the way. Now, I kind of like this setup because if you ever need to fly with your bike, put it in a box, you can undo this little screw here and you get some cable slack that you can then maneuver the bars around and get it inside a box. If you want to run one, all the cables go inside the actual stem, and they can do that, I think it's called the Vinci stem, then you can have a real hard time doing that. So you have options. You can either use the one piece, all singing, all dancing, Alana, I think it's called, which is actually a fantastic handlebar, but the design aesthetics I don't think would really work with this bike. You've got the Super Aero 2-piece, the Vinci, which is pretty cool, but all the cables have to sort of be routed through the stem, which you don't want to do, and we're not that worried about aero for this. You have the Superbox, which although is maybe slightly heavy, I think gives us the best combination of sort of performance. I like the stem, it's good, it's stiff, and being able to maintain a really nice clean look. If you really want to fit your own, you can. They do make what they call the DCR cover, but I've actually found it really hard to get hold of. And this is actually one of the things that in that little box of stuff that I showed you, rather than having that Di2 space, it'd be fantastic if Time just supplied that little cover, and then you straight out of the box, you can use whatever stem that you might want to use. But for now, we've gone for this because I think this is going to look clean. Contentious issue, but with sort of size small and extra small bikes, you don't really have to worry about the height of this too much, because generally speaking, the saddle to bar drop for people riding a small bike is already too big. So they normally have the trouble trying to get the front end low enough. So in this case, we are literally just chopping this off. Now, obviously measure, but that's why I'm not paying much attention to this, because in actual fact, this is still going to be a little bit on the high side for what we want. But like every size small bike, we've still got to fit a 700C wheel in there, some sort of way of joining the top tube and the down tube, and a headset. So like I say, your saddle to bar drop is still going to be pretty small compared to what, I don't know, what I ride, for instance.
I'm going super slow, obviously. I'm about to go up a hill, but this bike's mega.
Okay, all the boring stuff done and cables routed, all that sort of stuff, and we're at the point where we need to fit the bottom bracket. And this is going to be quite interesting. First of all, we are fitting a Hambini bottom bracket. You don't need to on a frame of this quality, but it's kind of nice too, don't you think? And Hambini was kind enough to machine up a special bottom bracket, BB386 Evo to GXP. It's not normally in his range, but he wanted us to demonstrate how you would fit it to a frame like this. Also, thank you very much to an anonymous viewer who sent me this 3D printed part of a BB386 Evo Hambini bottom bracket, which is kind of useful for just setting the cable lengths. And actually, I've used this just to make sure that I've got enough length here to wrap around the Hambini bottom bracket before doing so. And there's actually plenty of room. I've taken the frame guide out, and I'll worry about plugging that little hole at the bottom in a second. But for now, I'm pretty confident this is all going to go in. I've done a dry fit on my GXP, and we are ready to squeeze this in. Now, we have waxed lyrical on this channel before about the quality of these bottom brackets, and these are going to sort of blow your mind a little bit, because you're probably not used to working with a bottom bracket that's actually at the right size. And I mean, this is exact. So taken my micrometers, and this is so rare that you'll see this, but we can measure across here, and we are exactly at 45.97. And if I take one of Hambini's gauges, this is the 45.95, this is going to go in relatively easy. This is about as accurate as a bottom bracket gets, and it's rare that that would actually happen, that the 45.95 will go in as easily and then stop as smoothly as that. So no machining at all. Bizarrely, Hambini has fitted the GXP version of this on the non-drive side, where he normally says go in from the non-drive side, but where the GXP is on the other side. So we're going to have to go in from the drive side, which is contrary to his instructions normally, to make this work. Okay, let's squeeze it in.
Thing that's really cool about this bike, aside from the fact that every bit of effort that you put into the pedal stroke goes forwards, which is amazing, is how it goes around corners. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I didn't know how the performance could be so much better than what I was riding, and it's just incredible. I've only ridden it twice, but this ride that I'm on isn't really going to demo that, but my confidence going downhill and round a corner has shot up because I feel so stable on this bike. It's amazing. So yeah, love that.
Here it is, Vic's new bike. And Vic,
Hi.
Congratulations on a lovely new bike. I'm so glad we could get this for you. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for building it for me. It's absolutely amazing.
And if you guys remember, this is all the components off of that old bike over there. The only thing we've changed is a new chain, and we had to change the brake hoses just because they weren't quite long enough to go through the internal routing. Other than that, same wheels, same tyres, same group set, everything. So, first impressions.
You don't know what you don't know, and I didn't realise what a difference an incredible frame like this could make to my ride. So my first impression absolutely blew my mind the first time I rode this. It's a world apart from the Tifosi that I'd had before.
And that was just out the car park, which is quite rutted and beaten up, isn't it, our car park?
Yeah, so like all bikes that come here, I did the usual spin around the car park and down the lane, and yeah, it's potholy and rough, and there's a few things that really struck me. It's really stiff when you push down on the pedals, but it was remarkably comfortable, and that just kind of blew my mind. Super stiff when you press down on the pedals, and yet I'm not getting bounced around on this road. It's mad. From the very first ride, and that's been happening. I've been offering it to everybody to go and have a pedal on outside.
Actually, I've got to say that's true. Like, all of our gym members come down here, and a load of our customers have just been like, "Oh wow, what's that?" And we're like, "Just going to take you for a ride around the car park. Tell me what you think." And it's been really weird, isn't it? A few of them have gone, "Oh no, I dared, just in case I like it."
Yeah.
And the ones that have just gone, "Oh."
Absolutely, yeah, they've just come back buzzing, they really have. The other thing that's really blown my mind with it is how it handles. I've experienced different types of mountain bike, but pretty much the bike in the background is the only one I've ever had on the road. I'm a fairly novice rider. And we live, as you know, in the Lake District, and it's hilly, and there's twisty tight turns, corners, lots of corners, and this bike just goes where you want it to go, which sounds ridiculous because all bikes go where you want them to go most of the time. But this really is tight on the turns. You feel super safe. I'm definitely more confident just from riding it a couple of times.
You're so much faster descending. I don't know where that's come from.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I always thought I was all right because I mountain bike. So it's come from the bike is where it's come from, that's for sure, yeah.
So yeah, I think one of the big things for me when I was putting it together was just how stiff the forks felt. Like, and you talk about it goes where you want it to go, which does sound ludicrous because of course all bikes just go where you want it to go. But I think when you hit a little obstacle or a little bit of gravel or some pot, you do feel like you need to grip more of the handlebars, don't you? This
don't really. Well, yeah, it just stays on course, and that's amazing. And I didn't realise how much confidence that could give you, and it's really noticeable. I loved my old bike. I got this fantastic opportunity, and thank you, Time. But I don't have words because I'm not. I don't consider myself a particularly great cyclist, but it's amazing.
This is what's so exciting about this idea is how do we try and articulate to our viewers something which is so hard to put into words, because we can talk about compliance and stiffness and ride feel, but it's I think what you're bringing to it is it's made you go faster. And why has it made you go faster? It's because you just feel like you're in control.
Oh, definitely.
I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really happy to find a flow, which I get, I suppose, from a mountain biking background. But yeah, finding a flow on the roads and confidence on the road, I'm definitely.
And if you compare that to Tiff the
Tifosi, yeah.
Now you've got the contrast when you were turning into something that was a bit chossy, like a steep descent. What did that feel? Can you describe?
So for that, it would always feel a little bit, I suppose, like I was chasing the bike. So it would want to drift out. If I was, even with like a really good weight balance and guiding the front wheel and the handlebars around a tight turn, I would always feel that the bike wanted to drift. It wasn't exactly on the course that I wanted it to be on. I was in control and I was happy, but I think that always made me a bit more cautious. So I'm really looking forward to taking the time up and down rhinos. I think that would be really fun. That's that's one of my favourite climbs in the Lakes. That the same, taking it down, maybe down Honister towards Newlands. That would be really good because that's quite a technical road descent. That's
crazy because you would normally put that understeer for sensation down to the geometry, but actually it's got the same head angle, 73 degrees. So there's nothing different there, and the wheels are exactly the same. The tyres are exactly the same. Yep. So this. I mean, I know that the forks on that have got a little bit of
play, yeah.
Browns would call it compliance, I call it flex.
Flex, okay, yeah.
In them, which when you've got the handlebars loaded like you would do on a descent, I'm trying to, you would feel that flex more, and it just feels like you've got like a couple of millimeters before something happens.
Yes.
Whereas I think this, when I've ridden it, it's like you don't have that little.
No.
It's just
on it.
It's just precise.
It's absolutely precise. Yeah, it's really accurate. And then the next thing that's really different from this to TIFF is I thought TIFF was pretty comfortable. And I was actually really worried because this, I knew, you know, we've obviously been talking about time bikes for a while. Paul had the ADHX, etc. And I've been hearing about them. We've been discussing them here. And I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to tell the difference. And I was thinking, oh God, what if I don't know? Because it's all the same parts. What if I don't know the difference? Oh my goodness, no, it's 1,000 times better, 1,000,000 times better. It's just so great because it's also comfortable. So despite all that stiffness, that accuracy, it's still comfortable. My hands aren't getting smacked around. I'm not getting body judders. Yeah, it's unreal.
And that's what normally comes when you would buy a very, very stiff frame. So let's think a high mod Super 6, those sort of things, or a specialized S-Work, something which has been designed to be super stiff and super lightweight. If anyone that's ridden that, you'll know that because it's so stiff, it's always got like a little bit of road buzz. It's smooth as anything, isn't it?
It's really smooth, and yet it's really quiet as well, which is probably credit to Paul's bike building skills. But it's super quiet on the road.
The same on the Tifosi, we had all those cables tied down. It's just got an inherent sort of buzz like most really super stiff bikes have, and the stiffness on that comes from just the sheer amount of carbon in it, as opposed to crazy high modulus carbon like Jake's bike. It feels like the tyre's always in contact with the ground, doesn't it? I think when you're on a super stiff, either cheaper bike or a super stiff high modulus bike, it always feels like you're just. I think this just feels like your tyres are always in. It's
just super smooth. I don't know how else to say it. It's just super smooth ride experience. It really is. I don't race. I'm not competitive, but I would gladly ride that for hundreds and hundreds of kilometres.
It's almost like taking 10 psi out of tyres. It's that sort of feel, isn't it? Yeah.
Real.
And what do you think of this colour?
Oh, the colour. Yeah. After being slightly dubious, I must admit, because I'm not really a pink person, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I think I love it because it's so rich and so deep. And also, we've kept everything else really low key, really understated, which allows the colour to just kind of be what it is. For me, I think it would be a bit much if this was all pink as well. Plus, being able to see the carbon through that clear lacquer is absolutely, it's a head turner. It's
a total conversation starter, isn't it?
Completely, yeah.
And then you sort of, the closer you look into this frame, I like the pink paint job. And you go, oh, it's carbon at the back. And then you sort of look at the dropouts, you go, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And it's sort of that.
Yeah, and then everyone asks me what my group set is. But that's fine. That's fine.
Does it make any difference?
It's what I like to ride, and I think that's the most important thing, really.
Yeah.
I've no issue with that. I ride a one by, and I'm really happy with that. It really suits me. It removes any complication. However, if you're not a fan of that, great, you do you. Like that's all good. I'm totally happy with it.
And this is almost the same weight. There's virtually nothing different. I think your Tifosi was like 200 grams heavier. I mean, that's nothing.
It's nothing.
This really wasn't an exercise in saving weight. In contrast, this is a Time ADH with carbon seat posts, carbon handlebars, Dura Ace everywhere, Mavic wheels, and the weight is 8.09. Not a great deal of difference for a whole lot more cost.
I suppose for a rider like myself who just goes out and enjoys riding, I want to keep up with a group, but I'm not looking to be competitive. That difference is negligible for me. And I'm already faster, and I've certainly not lost weight. So it's all to do with how the bike handles and how it transfers that power that I'm putting on the pedals.
Speed comes from confidence, and taking a little line out of Fast Forward's logos there. But you're right, like we could probably lose a kilo of weight by going to something really super stiff and super light. And I don't think you'd have the confidence to ride it fast.
No, I don't
it takes
think so.
quite a lot of bike handling skills to
definitely. I mean, we can talk about the first road bike I ever rode.
Oh, that felt. That's a great example. Actually,
that was a disaster.
Your first road bike was.
Didn't get on with that at all.
we got Vic a very, very lightweight, a very high spec felt, And it was terrifying for you, wasn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Again,
absolutely.
the same angle, 73, 73, all fitted.
Was it?
Yeah,
Wow,
absolutely,
okay.
yeah. It goes to show how much difference a frame
Just-
can make.
Yeah, that wasn't the right bike for me. A great bike for lots of other people, all good, but not for me.
You never felt like you were in control of it.
No, never. I fell off it frequently, which was horrendous. For
And that
everybody.
bike actually handles a bit like a really super stiff time trial bike. It's just...
Yeah, there was a lot of that. Yeah, I remember going and doing anyway.
But
yeah.
it was...
It's awful. It was awful. And I'd like to think that my riding skills have come on a bit since then, because that would have been like 5 years ago probably now. So a bit more experience, but I don't think that element of comfort and so on was just not there in the felt. And with this, it's unreal. Yeah, it's absolutely unreal. For what I want it to do, it's just amazing. And it's probably more than I will ever need. And if I wanted to race, I'm sure I could.
Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing. So this frame is £3,349 retail.
It's literally 10 times the price of the other bike.
10 times the price of what we paid for the Tifosi. It's a hell of an upgrade. And I guess for most people, when they're considering a road bike and spending that sort of money, you'd be wanting to lose a significant amount of weight out of your frame. But the frame weights are negligible. There's nothing in it really.
I also don't understand the gain. I don't get what you're gonna gain by having looking to lose that much weight off the bike. I can get fitter, I can lose some weight if I want to be even faster on this. And I spent my money elsewhere on the old frame first, and I think Paul's talked about this quite a lot on the channel, but I think I got upgraded this potentially on TIFF first.
Yeah, we changed we changed the gear ratios to suit, because you were doing the Fred Whitten.
I was doing the Whitten, yeah.
So we got some Fred Whitten type gear ratios, and then after that we upgraded the wheels. Initially you had some aluminium wheels on that. That was a massive upgrade.
And that was a big change. So having the frame, and then just before the Fred Whitten, we upgraded the wheels to these Pacentis.
Pacenti Pico 46.
Pacenti Pico 46s. And that again was an amazing change in sort of comfort and just that ability to hook up and move and travel, which on the Whitten was great. I had a really good ride around there.
It's like you have a little friendly push, isn't it? When you have some aero wheels, when you get them up to speed, it just feels like someone's just
absolutely
pushing you on a little bit.
Absolutely. And the one bike got a lot of comments of people, but when they realised it was still a 1-to-1 ratio up all the same passes that they were riding, and I was overtaking them, it was it was fine. So maybe I need to do the Whitten again on this bike. We'll see. We'll just go out and ride it.
Yeah, we can do that anytime we want.
Yeah, exactly. But at the moment,
it's hard to lose any weight. I mean, the easiest way to lose weight out of this now would be crankset and seat post. This isn't even a carbon seat post. This is.
Is that the one it came with?
Actually, we did have to change the seat post because that's a built-in one. But we went for not quite the cheapest, but not far off the cheapest Deda aluminium seat post. So there's nothing special there at all. So if we really did feel like losing a bit of weight, there's cranks and seat posts
that would make a difference for sure.
But I guess we're going to find out, because we're building another one downstairs with all singing or dancing. And I'm going to put those weights up at the end, because I don't think it would be as much as people think.
No, it'll definitely be lighter, and it's got a different purpose, I think, hasn't it, that one? Racy,
so, maybe.
Yeah, so it will be lighter, and it's going to a much more experienced rider. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how they compare. But in terms of smiles for miles, this one's definitely going to win. That's for sure.
So I think just to sum this up then, I think when you get a frame that is so precision made and made so well, it's that confidence that you get. It's really hard to articulate, and I think we've done a pretty good job of it.
Hope so.
But you really have to ride a frame like this to really understand it. But it really does come from precision and confidence, and whenever your bike, you might not even notice it, it's so subliminal in your current bike, but whenever it's got a little bit of movement that you're not expecting, that tiny little bit of movement just takes away confidence. It might not be as much as a loose headset, it could just be as much as an ill-fitting through axle or something like that. It's just got that tiny little nudge of flex or something. When everything is precise and stiff and well made, you just get tons and tons of confidence.
You do.
And with that, you can do whatever you want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been blowing everybody's mind. There's some kind of magic that's happening in here to make it as comfortable and smooth and that accurate.
It is. It's nice actually having it in the shop, because when people come and try it, they're like,
Yeah, they don't get it. I don't get it.
Let me go for another lap.
Yeah.
They don't expect it to be as smooth, do they?
No, it's definitely not what I expected at all. Yeah, I'm delighted.
Cracking. Thanks very much for trying to put that into words.
Yeah, be kind in the comments. Be kind. And yeah, if you've got one, or I've got one, or this has helped you change your mind and decide to get one, go for it.
Any more questions, get them down in the comments, or if you're interested in purchasing a time bike here in the UK, give us a call. We'll be happy to talk through some custom build options. And yeah, thanks for watching.